Today I want to speak to the part of you that feels unseen, unheard, and unloved. If you've ever felt that ache of being overlooked, the emptiness of waiting for love that doesn't come, or the pain of giving and not receiving, know this: you are not alone. But more importantly, you are not without love. The journey of the unloved woman is not about others failing to see your worth. It's about reconnecting with the love that has always existed within you. The love that begins in your heart and radiates outward, unstoppable, unshakable. Every single one of us comes into this world as a being worthy of love. There are no exceptions to this truth. From the moment you take your first breath, you carry an undeniable value simply because you exist. Yet, life has a way of making us question this. Through rejection, loss, and the trials of relationships, you might begin to wonder if you are truly deserving of love. Let me remind you today, you are, without a shadow of a doubt, inherently worthy of love. It's easy to believe that love is something we must earn. Society often ties our worthiness to our actions, appearances, or achievements. You might hear whispers of, if only I looked a certain way, or if I were more successful, then I'd be loved. But love does not work that way. Love is not a reward for perfection. It is a gift that exists within you and around you. You do not need to be anything other than who you are to be worthy of it. Many of us have experienced moments where love felt conditional. Perhaps someone you cared deeply for withheld their affection unless you met their expectations. Or maybe you were told, directly or indirectly, that you weren't enough. These experiences can create wounds that linger, convincing you that love is scarce or that you must prove yourself to receive it. But those experiences do not reflect the truth about love or your worth. They reflect someone else's inability to give love freely, not your lack of deserving it. The journey to recognizing your worth begins with a shift in perspective. You must stop looking outward for validation and start looking inward. The world may not always mirror back the love you deserve, but that does not mean you are unworthy. Your worthiness is not determined by how others treat you. It is an intrinsic part of who you are, unchanging and eternal. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Think of the times when you've shown love to others, whether it was through a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, or simply being present for someone in need. That ability to love so freely comes from within you. It is proof that love is already part of your being. If you can give love, you can also receive it. The flow of love begins with how you treat yourself. Self-love is not selfish, it is the foundation upon which all other love rests. When you look in the mirror, what do you see? Are you kind to yourself, or are you quick to criticize? The way you speak to yourself matters deeply. Begin to replace self-criticism with self-compassion. Instead of focusing on perceived flaws, celebrate your strengths. Instead of replaying moments of regret, remind yourself of the times you acted with courage and kindness. One of the most powerful ways to embrace your worthiness is through affirmations. Stand in front of a mirror, look yourself in the eyes and say, I am worthy of love. I am enough exactly as I am. At first, these words may feel awkward or untrue, especially if you spent years doubting your value, but over time, they begin to sink in, rewriting the narrative of your life. It's also important to acknowledge that worthiness does not mean you will never face rejection or pain. Life is filled with moments of connection and disconnection, and love and loss. But these moments are not reflections of your value, they are simply part of the human experience. When someone cannot see your worth, it says more about them than it does about you. Their inability to love you does not diminish your inherent worthiness. When you embrace your worth, you begin to attract love in its truest form, unconditional and genuine. This type of love is not about filling a void, but about sharing a fullness. It begins with the relationship you have with yourself. When you love yourself deeply, you set the standard for how others should love you. You teach the world that you are not willing to settle for less than the respect and kindness you deserve. Even in moments of loneliness, remember that you are surrounded by love in many forms. It exists in the warmth of the sun on your skin, the laughter of a friend, the beauty of a flower blooming in the spring. Love is everywhere, waiting for you to notice it, waiting for you to claim it. And most importantly, it is within you, waiting for you to embrace it. Your worthiness is not a question, it is a fact. You are not broken, incomplete, or undeserving. You are a magnificent being capable of giving and receiving love in abundance. The more you recognize this, the more your life will transform. You will walk taller, speak with confidence, and approach the world with an open heart. Let this truth become the foundation of your life. You are inherently worthy of love. Not because of what you do, how you look, or who acknowledges you, but because you are here, alive, and full of limitless potential. Every breath you take is a testament to your worth. Believe it, embrace it, live it. You are loved and you are loved. The pain of the past has a way of lingering, often shaping how we see ourselves, others, and the world. It whispers doubts into our hearts, replays old wounds in our minds, and creates invisible barriers around our souls. But holding on to the past, no matter how justified it may feel, only keeps us tethered to moments that no longer serve us. Releasing this pain is not about forgetting or dismissing what happened. It's about freeing yourself from its grip so you can live fully in the present and move forward with hope. Pain is a natural part of life. It teaches us, shapes us, and helps us grow. Yet, when we carry it for too long, it becomes a weight, a burden that limits our potential. The events that caused your pain may not have been fair or deserved, but carrying that pain is a choice. And the beautiful thing about choices is that you can make a new one, right here and now. Begin by acknowledging what you're holding on to. Is it the sting of betrayal? The heartbreak of loss? The regret of missed opportunities? Whatever it is, give yourself permission to feel it. So often we try to suppress or deny our pain, thinking it will disappear on its own. But unacknowledged pain doesn't fade, it festers. It shows up in unexpected ways, affecting your relationships, your health, and your sense of peace. By facing your pain head-on, you take the first step toward healing. Letting go of pain also requires self-compassion. Many of us are harder on ourselves than anyone else could ever be. We replay past mistakes, berating ourselves for what we should have done differently. But there is no kindness in self-criticism. Forgive yourself for what you didn't know, for the times you acted out of fear, for the moments when you fell short. You are human, and being human means you are imperfect. Instead of punishing yourself for the past, recognize the courage it takes to learn from it and grow. Another part of releasing pain is letting go of blame. It's tempting to hold on to anger and resentment toward those who have hurt you. You may feel that forgiving them absolves them of responsibility or diminishes the impact of their actions. But forgiveness is not about excusing what happened, it's about freeing yourself. When you hold on to anger, you remain tied to the person or situation that caused your pain. Forgiveness severs that tie, allowing you to reclaim your energy and focus on your own healing. Releasing pain doesn't mean you'll never think about the past again. Memories may still surface and emotions may still arise, but the difference is that they no longer control you. Instead of feeling trapped by what happened, you can observe those feelings with compassion and remind yourself that they are part of your story, not your identity. Healing also involves replacing pain with something greater. As you let go of the past, create space for joy, love, and gratitude. Focus on the present moment, where life is happening right now. Notice the small wonders around you, a warm smile, the beauty of nature, the feeling of sunlight on your skin. These moments remind you that there is still so much good to experience. You don't have to do this alone. Seeking support from loved ones, therapists, or support groups can provide you with the tools and encouragement you need to let go. Sharing your story with someone who listens without judgment can be incredibly healing. It reminds you that you're not alone and that your pain, while unique, is also part of the universal human experience. Sometimes releasing the pain of the past involves rituals or symbolic acts. Writing a letter to the person who hurt you, even if you never send it, can help you process your emotions and find closure. Meditating or journaling about your feelings can bring clarity and peace. Some people find release through physical activities such as yoga or hiking, which connect the body and mind in healing ways. Ultimately, releasing the pain of the past is an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you deserve peace, happiness, and freedom. It's choosing to prioritize your well-being over clinging to what can't be changed. The past may have shaped you, but it does not define you. You are more than your pain. You are resilience. You are hope. As you let go of the pain, remind yourself that it's not about erasing the past, but about transforming it. Take the lessons it taught you and carry them forward with grace. Use your experiences to build strength, empathy, and wisdom. And whenever you feel the weight of the past creeping back in, gently remind yourself, I am here, now. I choose to release what no longer serves me. You are not your mistakes. You are not your heartbreaks. You are not the hurtful words or actions of others. You are a beautiful, evolving being capable of creating a life filled with love and light. Let go of the pain, not because it wasn't real, but because you are ready for something better. Choose freedom. Choose healing. Choose yourself. Self-love is not a luxury, it is a necessity. It is the foundation upon which all other forms of love and happiness are built. Yet so many of us put ourselves last, treating self-care and self-love as afterthoughts in the hustle of daily life. We give to others until we are depleted, chasing validation from external sources while neglecting the most important relationship we will ever have, the one with ourselves. Prioritizing self-love is not selfish, it is the most profound act of self-respect, and it is essential for a life filled with joy, peace, and purpose. The journey to self-love begins with acknowledgement. It requires recognizing that you are not just deserving of love, you are the source of it. So often people search for love outside of themselves, thinking it will fill the void within. They look to relationships, accomplishments, or possessions to feel whole. But the truth is, no one and nothing can complete you. Only you have the power to nurture the love that already exists within. To prioritize self-love, you must first silence the inner critic. That harsh voice inside that points out your flaws, replays your mistakes, and tells you that you are not enough. It is not your truth. It is a voice shaped by fear, insecurity, and the unrealistic expectations of the world around you. To love yourself, you must challenge this critic and replace it with a voice of kindness and compassion. Speak to yourself as you would a dear friend, offering encouragement instead of judgment. One powerful way to cultivate self-love is through affirmations. Start your day by looking into the mirror and saying, I love you, I am proud of you. You are enough. At first, this may feel uncomfortable or even silly. especially if you are not accustomed to speaking kindly to yourself. But over time, these words begin to rewire your thoughts, creating a new narrative of self-worth. Affirmations are a daily reminder that you are worthy of love just as you are. Another key to prioritizing self-love is setting boundaries. Many of us struggle with saying no, fearing it will disappoint others or make us seem unkind. But saying no is not about rejection, it is about protection, protecting your energy, your time, and your well-being. Boundaries are an act of love toward yourself, a way of showing that your needs and feelings matter. They teach others how to treat you and, more importantly, remind you to treat yourself with respect. Self-love also involves taking care of your body, mind, and spirit. It means nourishing yourself with healthy food, moving your body in ways that feel good, and getting enough rest. It's about finding time for the things that bring you joy, whether that's reading, dancing, painting, or simply sitting in silence. When you care for yourself holistically, you create a sense of balance and harmony that radiates through every aspect of your life. Forgiveness is another vital component of self-love. Holding on to guilt, regret, or self-blame keeps you trapped in the past, unable to fully embrace the present. You must forgive yourself for the times you fell short, made mistakes, or acted out of fear. Understand that you were doing the best you could with the knowledge and resources you had at the time. Forgiveness is not about excusing your actions, it's about releasing the burden of self-judgment so you can move forward with a lighter heart. As you prioritize self-love, you will notice a shift in how you relate to others. When you love yourself deeply, you no longer seek approval or validation from those around you. You stop settling for relationships that drain you or diminish your worth. Instead, you attract people who reflect the love and respect you have for yourself. Self-love creates a ripple effect, transforming not only your inner world but also your outer relationships. Prioritizing self-love also empowers you to pursue your dreams and live authentically. When you believe in your worth, you stop doubting your abilities or comparing yourself to others. You realize that you are not here to fit into someone else's mold, you are here to shine in your own unique way. Self-love gives you the confidence to take risks, embrace your passions, and live a life that feels true to who you are. It is important to remember that self-love is not a destination, it is a lifelong practice. There will be days when it feels easy and natural, and there will be days when it feels like a struggle. Be patient with yourself. Love is not about perfection, it is about persistence. Keep showing up for yourself even on the hard days, and trust that every small act of self-care and self-compassion adds up to something beautiful. You are your own greatest ally, your own strongest advocate, and your own most reliable source of love. When you prioritize self-love, you unlock a sense of peace and fulfillment that no one can take away. You begin to see yourself not as a collection of flaws or failures, but as a vibrant, evolving being worthy of all the love and happiness the world has to offer. You are deserving of your own care, your own kindness, and your own love always. Living a joyful life is not a matter of luck or chance, it is an intentional choice. Joy is not simply the absence of hardship or the presence of fleeting happiness, it is a deep and lasting sense of peace and fulfillment that comes from within. It is something we can cultivate regardless of our circumstances because it is rooted in how we perceive and engage with the world. To cultivate a joyful life, you must focus on nurturing habits, perspectives, and connections that bring genuine meaning and light into your days. The journey to joy begins with gratitude. Gratitude shifts your focus from what is lacking in your life to the abundance that already exists. It invites you to notice the small blessings that often go unnoticed: the warmth of the sun on your skin, the sound of laughter, or the kindness of a stranger. By practicing gratitude daily, you rewire your mind to look for the good in every situation. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or denying pain, but rather choosing to acknowledge the beauty and growth that coexist alongside them. Another key to cultivating joy is to live in the present moment. So much of our suffering comes from dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. When you are fully present, you free yourself from these burdens and allow joy to enter. The present moment is where life happens, where connections are made, and where joy is found. Mindfulness practices such as meditation or simply taking deep breaths can help anchor you in the here and now. Pursuing what you love is essential to creating a joyful life. Often we get caught up in responsibilities and routines, setting aside our passions in the name of productivity. Yet the activities that bring you joy, whether it's painting, gardening, dancing, or spending time in nature, are not distractions, they are necessities. They reconnect you to your true self and remind you of the magic in life. Make time for these pursuits, no matter how busy you are, because they nourish your soul. Joy also flourishes when you prioritize meaningful relationships. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, support you, and celebrate your victories, no matter how small. These connections bring a sense of belonging and love that is vital for joy. At the same time, be mindful of relationships that drain your energy or undermine your happiness. It's okay to set boundaries and distance yourself from negativity. Joyful living requires protecting your peace and being intentional about the people you allow into your life. A joyful life is not one devoid of challenges. It is one where you learn to navigate them with resilience and hope. Challenges are an inevitable part of the human experience, but your perspective on them makes all the difference. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, view them as opportunities for growth. Trust that even the hardest moments can teach you something valuable. This mindset doesn't erase pain, but it empowers you to find purpose and even joy in the midst of adversity. Generosity is another powerful way to cultivate joy. When you give to others, whether it's your time, resources, or kindness, you create a ripple effect of positivity that touches both you and those around you. Giving fosters a sense of connection and purpose that brings immense joy. Acts of generosity don't have to be grand gestures. Even small acts like offering a kind word or helping someone in need can create a profound sense of fulfillment. Taking care of yourself is also crucial for cultivating joy. Your physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being are interconnected, and neglecting any one of them can diminish your capacity for joy. Make self-care a priority, not as an indulgence, but as a necessity. Listen to your body, honor your emotions, and take time to rest and recharge. A well-cared-for self is better equipped to embrace and radiate joy. Joy thrives in simplicity. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of more success, more possessions, more recognition. But true joy often lies in the simplest moments: a heartfelt conversation, a walk in the park, or a quiet evening spent with loved ones. Simplifying your life by focusing on what truly matters can create space for joy to flourish. Finally, cultivating joy involves embracing yourself fully. Accepting who you are, your strengths, flaws, and everything in between allows you to live authentically. When you let go of the need to be perfect or to meet others' expectations, you free yourself to experience joy in its purest form. You are enough just as you are. And recognizing this truth is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Joy is not something you find, it is something you create. By practicing gratitude, staying present, pursuing your passions, nurturing relationships, and caring for yourself, you can cultivate a life that overflows with joy. Challenges may come and hardships may test you, but with intention and love, you can always return to the joy that lives within you. It is yours to nurture, yours to share, and yours to cherish. Setting healthy boundaries is a vital part of living a balanced and fulfilling life. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what is acceptable and what is not in your relationships, work, and personal space. They allow you to protect your energy, prioritize your needs, and establish respect for yourself and others. Without boundaries, you risk overextending yourself, becoming overwhelmed, or losing sight of your own needs and values. Learning to set and maintain healthy boundaries is an act of self-love and self-respect that can lead to healthier relationships, less stress, and greater peace of mind. At its core, setting boundaries is about knowing what you need in order to feel safe, respected, and nurtured, and then communicating these needs clearly to others. It's important to recognize that boundaries are not walls that keep people out. They are protective barriers that allow you to engage with the world in a way that honors who you are and what you value. Establishing healthy boundaries means that you are willing to say no when something doesn't align with your needs, and to say yes to the things that serve your well-being. The first step in setting healthy boundaries is to understand your values and needs. What is important to you? What makes you feel safe, loved, and respected? These questions will guide you in identifying what boundaries you need to establish in different areas of your life. For example, if you value your time and personal space, you may need to set limits on how much you're available to others, particularly in ways that are draining or that leave you feeling overwhelmed. If you value your emotional well-being, you may need to establish boundaries around certain topics of conversation or relationships that are toxic or emotionally abusive. Once you have a clear understanding of your values and needs, the next step is to communicate those boundaries with others. This can be challenging, especially if you are not accustomed to asserting yourself or fear conflict. However, it is important to remember that your boundaries are not negotiable. They are an essential part of taking care of yourself. You do not need to apologize for setting them. Communicating boundaries can be done with kindness and respect, without being defensive or aggressive. For instance, you might say, "I need some time to myself after work to recharge," or "I'm not comfortable with that conversation right now." When you express your boundaries with confidence and clarity, you teach others how to treat you with respect. It is also important to recognize that setting boundaries requires ongoing practice and consistency. People may push against your boundaries intentionally or unintentionally, especially if they are not used to you asserting your needs. It is essential to stay firm and gentle in upholding your boundaries, even when it feels uncomfortable. If someone repeatedly disrespects your boundaries, you may need to reevaluate that relationship and consider whether it aligns with your values. Healthy boundaries require healthy relationships, and it's important to surround yourself with people who honor and respect you. One of the most common reasons people struggle with setting boundaries is the fear of disappointing or upsetting others. We may worry that by saying no, we will hurt someone's feelings or cause conflict. However, the truth is that failing to set boundaries is a disservice to both yourself and the other person. When you do not set clear boundaries, you risk resentment, burnout, and emotional exhaustion, which ultimately damages the relationship. In contrast, when you communicate your boundaries honestly and respectfully, you foster greater trust and mutual respect in your relationships. Setting boundaries is a way of showing others that you value yourself, and in turn, you are teaching them to value you too. It's also important to remember that your boundaries may evolve over time. As your life circumstances change, your needs and limits may shift. For instance, when you start a new job or enter a new phase of life, you may need to establish new boundaries to accommodate your growing responsibilities. Life is dynamic, and it's okay to reassess your boundaries as you grow and change. Regularly checking in with yourself allows you to remain aligned with your values and ensure that you are giving yourself the care and attention you deserve. Self-care is an integral part of maintaining healthy boundaries. Setting boundaries is not just about saying no to others, it's also about saying yes to yourself. When you set boundaries, you create space for the things that bring you joy, peace, and fulfillment. This might include time for rest, hobbies, personal reflection, or spending time with loved ones. Healthy boundaries allow you to take care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being without feeling guilty or selfish. By prioritizing your needs, you are able to show up as the best version of yourself in all areas of your life. At its heart, setting healthy boundaries is a declaration of self-respect. It is a way of honoring your worth and acknowledging that you deserve to live in a way that feels true to who you are. Boundaries allow you to protect your energy, preserve your peace, and live a life that is aligned with your values. It's not about pushing people away or creating distance. It's about cultivating relationships and environments where you can thrive. With each boundary you set, you create the space necessary for growth, peace, and fulfillment. In the end, setting healthy boundaries is not just about protecting yourself from external forces. It is about creating an inner foundation of strength, self-awareness, and respect. By honoring your own needs and values, you show the world that you deserve love, respect, and kindness. And when you respect yourself, you teach others to do the same. Trusting love's timing is one of the most powerful and transformative aspects of cultivating healthy relationships with ourselves and others. In a world where instant gratification is often the norm and everything is expected to happen quickly, it can be difficult to embrace the idea that love unfolds in its own time. However, when you allow yourself to trust love's natural rhythm, you release the pressure and the anxiety that come from trying to force something to happen prematurely. Instead, you open yourself to the beauty of love's perfect timing, which has its own flow and course, often leading you to exactly what you need when you need it. First and foremost, it's important to understand that love, whether it's romantic, familial, or platonic, is not something that can be rushed. Relationships evolve over time, and love grows in its own pace. Often the most profound connections are those that are allowed to develop naturally without being forced or hurried. When you try to push a relationship into a certain mold or expect it to unfold on your timeline, you risk missing the depth and richness that can come from simply allowing things to happen as they should. One of the key elements of trusting love's timing is understanding that everything happens for a reason, and that includes the moments in which love enters your life. You may have experienced heartache, loss, or frustration in your journey toward love, but those experiences have shaped you and prepared you for the love that is meant for you. Sometimes we are not ready for the love we think we want, or we have not yet learned the lessons we need to fully appreciate it. Trusting love's timing means trusting that there is a perfect sequence to life and relationships, and that each step leads you closer to the right person or situation. It's easy to get caught up in comparisons when you see others around you seemingly finding love effortlessly or reaching milestones in their relationships. This comparison can make you feel like you are falling behind, but love doesn't operate on anyone else's schedule but your own. Just because someone else's love story seems to be unfolding faster or differently than yours doesn't mean that you are any less deserving or that your time is not coming. In fact, the more you resist comparison and embrace the uniqueness of your own journey, the more peace you will find in trusting the timing of your love life. A critical component of trusting love's timing is learning patience with yourself, with others, and with the process of love itself. Often we become impatient because we desire immediate fulfillment. We crave connection and validation, but real love is not something you can rush. It's not a quick fix for loneliness or a means to fill a void. Love is a journey of self-discovery, growth, and mutual understanding. It requires time, effort, and dedication to nurture and it flourishes when both people involved are ready and open to it. Letting go of the need to control the outcome is another important aspect of trusting love's timing. Many of us have a tendency to hold tightly to our expectations or the idea of how things should be. We may find ourselves making plans or trying to set everything in motion according to our idea of what love should look like. However, the beauty of love often lies in its unpredictability. When we release our need for control, we allow space for spontaneity, for surprise, and for the joy of discovery. Love is not meant to be confined to rigid timelines or expectations. It's meant to unfold organically, in its own time, and when both people are truly ready. Another vital part of trusting love's timing is recognizing that sometimes love needs to grow from within before it can manifest outwardly. Before you can fully offer love to another, it's essential to cultivate love for yourself. Self-love is the foundation upon which all other love is built. It's when you are secure in your own worth and identity that you can be open to receiving love from others. If you have not yet learned to love and accept yourself fully, you may find that love doesn't flow as easily with others, or it may not come in the form you expect. Trusting love's timing means understanding that this inner growth is just as important as any external relationship. And when you've nurtured yourself and become whole, the right love will follow naturally. Sometimes trusting love's timing also means accepting that love might not appear in the exact way you expect. The right person for you may not look like what you envisioned, or the love you desire may not come in the way you thought it would. Trusting love's timing requires a level of openness to unexpected possibilities. Love may come in different forms sometimes. The most beautiful relationships are those that come into our lives unexpectedly and change our lives in ways we never imagined. Lastly, trust in love's timing encourages you to surrender to the flow of life. It's about having faith that things will unfold as they should. Life doesn't always work out the way we plan, but it often works out in a way that's better than we could have ever imagined. When you trust the process, when you trust that love will come to you at the right time, you remove the pressure and the burden of worry. You begin to focus more on enjoying the present moment, appreciating the relationships you already have, and allowing love to enter when the time is right. Ultimately, trusting love's timing is an act of faith. It's about surrendering to the idea that everything happens when it's meant to. And when you are open and ready, love will meet you. It's about letting go of your expectations, being patient with yourself and others, and trusting that the love that is meant for you is worth waiting for. In the end, love arrives at just the right time, and it is often more beautiful than we ever imagined.